Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a cool informative video on how to study and how I personally create notes. I find that creating a solid set of notes is important to studying, so that's why I'm combining these topics into one video, and I think this is going to be a very useful video. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I love to make different school related videos. I like to make a day in the life of a college student videos, back to school videos, and all that fun stuff. So today let's focus on studying and taking notes. So these are index cards. I like to just have them on hand if I want to flashcard vocabulary or concepts, something that's hard to memorize. I like to flashcard. Next are some blank pieces of computer paper, which are really good for creating reference sheets and study guides. The Love What You Do book is actually a planner. It's a journal that I turned into a planner that I'll show you guys the inside of in a sec. Then I have some markers, which are really good for color coding notes, and a pen. And then I have a notebook. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to study for one of my classes. So the first step to studying is making a plan. Personally, in the beginning of the semester, I like to create a study schedule in which I have study blocks. If you want to know what I mean by that, definitely go check out my How to Create a Study Schedule video that I have posted from last year. I'm showing you guys a blank spread right now just because it's not even the start of the semester yet, and I don't really have my plans in order, but I will get them in order in a couple days, so don't worry about it. So this is basically a blank spread, and I'm going to write down my classes for the day and my obligations, and also like out of school obligations. So when creating a study schedule and for a particular exam, you have to take into account your other obligations and find effective periods of your day. Next, after planning and creating a study schedule, you want to have a good foundation for notes. This should be occurring throughout your semester. You shouldn't just get your notes organized the day before an exam or the week before an exam. You should try to keep them organized throughout your semester of taking the notes. So I'm going to show you guys a cool strategy that I just started using for this semester. I think it's going to be really helpful, or at least I hope so. So this is the notebook that I have for a class, and I have notes. There are a lot of notes. As you can see, it can get really crazy. Your notes might be unorganized because this is just, taking notes from the board. You don't really have a lot of time, and you just, sloppily write it down. So after a single lecture, I'm going to write an outline of what I learned that day. So trying not to put too much information, I like to just put topics and subtopics. And this is incredibly helpful because you've had, let's say, a long 80-minute lecture or 3-hour lecture, even sometimes colleges do that. So after a long lecture, you're going to want to do kind of like a summary sheet. But before you do a summary sheet, you need to do a basic outline of what you learned. By doing this, you can see patterns, you can kind of understand why the lecture was ordered in that way. Is you could spot trends, and this just aids in your memory if you're able to kind of see trends in what you learned in a single day. So I like to do that after every lecture. I like to have a little outline of what I learned that day. Super important, so when you study for an exam and you find you're doing practice questions, say a topic or two confused you, you can refer back to this to kind of use as an index for your material. As you see here, I taped on a piece of paper. During class, when I tried to complete this exercise, it kind of got too messy and I had to cross out a lot. So what I did was, initially, I didn't have a good strategy for tackling these problems. But what I did was I went on YouTube, looked up some videos, really good tutorials, and then I went back into the problem on my own. And by doing this, I just made sure to cover my old answers because first of all, they were confusing to begin with, and I just taped on my new answers. And this is really great because that means I studied after class and I went over the information after class. So I feel like that was really productive, and that's a good idea. So if you miss something in a lecture, say the teacher or professor goes too fast and you miss it, it's okay. Just make sure you note it and you go back to it later and make sure you can catch up on it as the lectures are going. Please do this right after that lecture. Do not wait until right before the exam to finish your notes from previous lectures. And all the things that I know that I might forget but are so important, I tend to put in the upper bar of my paper. Notes, all you do is you copy the notes from the professor as fast as you can. It's kind of bad to say fast as you can, I guess, but if you can't keep up, more importantly, copy down the things that he or she says that isn't in the slides that you can't refer to later, like special strategies and special information. As you see in my notes, they're not that colorful. I mean, they get really crazy. Like, that's really sloppy, I know. But yeah, so what happens is, like, when you learn tips and tricks and kind of have to like redo problems and stuff, I like to put post-its. So as you see, like, I like these were really helpful for me drawing that out. I have some sloppy post-its. I just wanted to like keep that on the page so that when I study, I know what to do. So now that I show you guys my notes, I do want to talk about studying in general. So after every lecture, or at least after every week of lectures, which usually consist of 2 lectures per week, you really have to go over your notes. And this is an important habit to form because it's pretty hard to just learn everything in class. You need to spend time outside of class learning, doing practice problems. So after you have a solid set of notes, and that may require taking out an hour or 2 just to fill in your notes, you need to study. So what I like to do is create index cards with information and then just rehearse it. Or I like to create review sheets. So this is just something I created really quick because I noticed that this was important, and it's really easy to just confuse. So I created this little reference guide. So basically all I'm saying is you have to repeat the information. You can't just look at your lecture notes. You have to reorganize the information into different charts, compare different things, because for example in my notes, ISO and NEO were in a completely different section than Sec and Tert, but they're actually oddly similar. So they're easy to confuse if you don't group them together and see their obvious differences. So like I said, after you have your good notes, you have to workshop the material by creating review sheets and study guides and index cards. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys as of now. I can post a better or like more thorough video on how to create a study guide and how to create index cards, but for right now I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and all that fun stuff. See you guys soon with a new video. Bye.